So, Billy?
Yes?
Danganronpa is a really weird and wacky game. Everybody is very extreme. Only in Danganronpa could Monokuma actually be completely tame and normal compared to the person running him the whole time. My God, she's so weird. Also, we were right. Gloat. We're the Bittersweet Gamers.
I'm We Squared.
I'm the Opinionator, and...
Now that Junko's revealed herself, get her, Genocide Jill!
What's actually stopping everybody from just rushing her and beating her up?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like she's at the controls for a Monokuma robot, so unless she's, in addition to being the ultimate fashionista, some sort of, like, mighty warrior woman,
I could believe... I mean, I could believe that, but anyway, it doesn't really matter.
I know.
I mean, if Sakura was here, that should be exactly what we think of, and it just seems like Genocide Jill probably capable of doing something similar.
Yeah.
Anyway, like Junko herself pointed out before she started talking about Mukuro and herself a little bit, because there's still a lot left to deal with.
Oh, yeah.
A lot. All we've done is
outed Monokuma.
Yeah, we just outed Monokuma, we know who the mastermind is, and we know who killed Mukuro. But that's it.
Yeah, there's still more to this little game.
The initial, like the requirements for this trial
have not been met.
They're still going on. So...
You haven't even solved all the mysteries, and yet here you are, yapping away!
Well, you're the one who's been talking a whole lot, probably more than the others.
Yeah.
Are you talking about our memories?
You've already solved this mystery, right? I'm the killer! So how about the next one? Maybe you should solve the riddle of your missing memories. Then you can start gloating.
Now, as for how it happened and why it happened, well,
we already kind of have an idea about why.
Yeah, because
they wouldn't be so quick to kill each other if they had their memories of knowing each other.
Yeah, so that happened in order to help everybody with the motive for the game. There's just too much that we don't know, and there's only so much we can speculate about. It's like there's just clear places where we have no information.
Right.
Damn straight. That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to solve all these mysteries.
Determine Makoto is best, Makoto.
And then we'll have our victory.
We're not gonna lose to you, bear. Or not bear.
I'm Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, well done.
I can't wait.
Seriously, can you put that thing down?
All right, then let's just get straight to the point. What memories did you steal from us?
That's a hero.
Don't we have to answer this question? Conveniently, we have some evidence to talk about it. Put that down!
When the group pictures were taken, and those interviews, it must mean...
Thank you.
I got it! It must have something to do with our entrancing exams.
No, thank you.
No fair! At least give us a hint!
That isn't how this works, Yasuhiro!
Okay,
and you know it!
Let's let the three people who do things in trials deal with this.
Your brains are like sponges, all drippy and leaky. I already gave you a hint before. All the memories you lost share something in common with a few other things. Do you recall?
Thinking back to what Monokuma's told us, the memories that were stolen from us and what they must be related to... I guess are the motives. It's not the founding of the academy.
Yeah, it's the motive.
I got it.
Woo.
You're talking about the motives you provided to try and get us to kill each other, right?
We even described it in terms of motive already, as in without it we wouldn't have had a motive.
So you do remember after all. Well, I would hope you wouldn't forget something so important. It was stupid of me to even ask. I apologize from the bottom of my heart for my bad manners.
Is she just gonna cycle through them all now?
I hope so. Wouldn't it be interesting if he just cycles through several for, like, every line?
Yeah.
So then, let me ask you another question. Did you notice that each motive I presented you had a specific theme to it?
A theme?
Well, yeah. Like the outside world and...
Yeah, the outside world, the status of the outside world,
there was the status of the outside world, and then it was the memory, or like the embarrassing secrets.
Like your memories, or the thing that's most embarrassing to you.
And then it was money.
Or the deepest secret.
Uh-huh.
The deepest secret.
Yeah, and then it was money.
Which
and then Sakura was the
materially
spy. Yeah.
useful in the outside world. And then...
Sakura was the spy. That was the last motive.
Then, like, mistrust and fight your enemy.
Yep, you got it. So that's my question to you all.
Well, some of them had to do with the outside world. 2 of them had to do with the outside world.
Well, no, because announcing their deepest secret to the outside world.
You're right. And then Sakura is maybe the one that doesn't
Well, that was also a special circumstance, though. Not technically a motive.
Is there one that we're forgetting?
Well, no, that's 4 of them. There were 4... There wasn't a motive presented.
Yeah, for 5
Mukuro.
or 6.
Yeah.
So you're right. You're right. So what are we missing about Sakura then? Because we have the outside world as a specific theme, and how we're not there. And for that matter, I suppose there's knowing things versus not knowing things. That kind of works with Sakura and the secrets, but it doesn't work with money or...
Well, it works with the outside world.
You're right. It doesn't work
with
with money, though.
But we also thought the money was a pretty weak motive anyway.
Yeah.
When Sayaka was murdered, what was the theme of the motive I presented?
Find out what happens outside.
That's all it was find out. Not you get to go outside.
Right.
Though you do get to leave if you graduate. Did they actually say that? I don't remember. It's been so long.
I think so.
But, I mean, probably. But, you know, if you did it then and won, you got to find out what happened outside.
This is a recruiting game.
Well, didn't we kind of theorize that in the beginning? Like it could have been like that's what we were talking about with the battle royale thing. Where
but they're recruiting for the ultimate despair. They want someone to experience the ultimate despair and join their ranks. Not necessarily to be a murderer, per se.
The thing is, though, is what does that have to do with the rest of the world?
Oh, sorry, no, they just
No.
head.
What I'm saying is, as far as we know, isn't it absolutely awful out there?
Yeah?
Doesn't it seem as though something, like,
well,
the
that's
biggest
just a secondary
tragedy...
motive, I'm sure. Like, they're trying to break one person to make them the ultimate despair. Or, like, a part of the ultimate despair.
And ultimate despair,
And
I suppose?
ultimate despair, yeah.
Well, we'll just keep moving at this point.
Just something I wanted to bring up.
The theme for the motive Monokuma gave us for the first matter.
Human connections.
Matter, murder, whatever. It is human connection.
Love triangles.
The driving force behind the motive you presented us with at that point was human connection.
I don't think she's trying to say they all had the same theme. I think she meant to say they all followed a specific theme.
They're individual themes. Yeah, it's like this was showing us all our families and loved ones, whatever the most important thing there might have been.
Ding, ding, ding. You got it. Remember those DVDs I gave you guys?
Are we going to see everyone else's?
Each video showed the total destruction of your most important relationships. For example, your family. For example, your friends. I ruined all those relationships and showed you the results. It was to motivate your desire to escape and kickstart your urge to kill. But still, what a cruel thing to do.
Yes.
You're the one that did it!
Yes, well, I'm perfectly happy to accept your disapproval.
Okay! Time for the next question! So, what was the theme for the second motive?
Well, that was our secret, the secrets.
Yeah. For the second murder, the motive's theme was the past.
Yeah.
I got it! It was our past, right?
Yay! Makoto got it right again! That time, the theme was... embarrassing memories and secrets! Yeah! And the whole reason Mondo did what he did was to protect his secret.
Well, I mean...
So, how long do you plan on dragging this out?
Really? That's not necessarily true, though.
What do you mean?
The reason Mondo killed Chihiro is because Chihiro was accepting his past and, like, fighting against it, and Mondo felt weak about not accepting his past, and he just got so infuriated and acted in a moment of passion.
Yeah, he felt so much shame that it caused him to act out of, like you said, a murder of passion. But it's not that the secret had nothing to do with it.
That's true.
It's like it was both of those things.
I don't know if I feel like I accept that specific interpretation. that makes it seem, the way she phrased it is basically saying that that's why that's the only reason why he did it.
Well, I guess another way to look at it is with all the murders, there were several reasons why they happened.
Yeah.
And why they were committed.
It's like Chihiro wanted to be strong, but to Mondo, Chihiro, who had already faced his secret and all that, was already stronger than him, the big muscly guy who's so, like, traumatized by his past. I mean, I guess looking at it like that, that makes sense. That's just an oversimplification that I don't necessarily agree with.
Well, it's like after that had all been proven, like in order to sort of explain why Mondo thought that he himself was weak, because that was when he told his story.
Yeah, I guess I could see
and it's like
that.
because of that, because of I felt so weak because I wanted to do anything to protect that myself and protect that secret, and that's what made me feel those emotions.
Okay, that's fine.
Whether it's fair to call that the root cause or not.
I understand what you're saying.
Relax. Okay, on to the next question.
Also, it's quite amusing that we spoke for so long on a screen where Byakuya said, "How long do you plan on dragging this out?" But
this game has been very meta lately.
But that's us in a nutshell.
So, what was the motive for the third murder?
Okay, not greed, but desire, perhaps?
Let's see what our options are.
Oh, we'll just leave it at greed.
I got it!
I mean, it was a weak motivation.
It was money, wasn't it? Greed.
Seek and destroy! Hell yeah, you got it again!
I like Rocker Junko the best. Yeah!
Goddamn straight it was money! Celeste killed Hifumi and Taka for a little personal gain. Her greed led to all kinds of death and destruction.
What's the point of all this? Why are you making us go through this case by case?
To make us remember. So we can
drive her point.
Yeah, so it can drive her point home.
Don't worry, sweet cheeks. Just one more to